President Donald Trump's key campaign promise was to get tough on immigration and build a wall along the southern border. Not one for holding back what he really thinks, his rhetoric on immigration has been particularly hostile. The president wants to get rid of the visa lottery, end chain migration, and have a merit-based immigration system. But 2 years down the line, immigration continues to grow, and Trump isn't any closer to getting his wall. Let's rewind back to the beginning. Donald Trump ran a presidential campaign and now runs his administration on the fear of immigration. In Trump's first month in office, he signed an executive order to fulfill his campaign promise to build a wall along the southern border in order to prevent people from coming into the country illegally. An issue he believes is at breaking point. This was shortly followed by another executive order banning people from Iran, Iraq, Yemen, Somalia, Sudan, and Libya from entering the United States for 90 days, and banning Syrian refugees altogether. The so-called Muslim ban, due to all countries included being Muslim majority, has had to be revised twice after being challenged in court. By September 2017, the third and final ban was finally accepted by the Supreme Court, and now includes Somalia, Iran, Yemen, Syria, Libya, and the addition of 2 non-Muslim countries, Venezuela and North Korea. The travel ban resulted in nationwide protest, but it is the child separation policy overseen by former Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen that remains Trump's biggest immigration scandal. In May 2018, former Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced a new zero-tolerance immigration policy that he said could separate children from their parents.
So, if you cross the border unlawfully, even a first offense, then we're going to prosecute you. Those cases are up about double last year, and we're going to go higher this year. It's an offense to enter the country unlawfully. If you smuggle an illegal alien across the border, then we'll prosecute you for smuggling. If you're smuggling a child, then we're going to prosecute you. And that child will be separated from you, probably, as required by law.
Thereafter, all adults coming across the southern border were prosecuted, while any children accompanying them were put into the government's care. The Department of Health and Human Services claimed nearly 3,000 children were separated. The separation policy caused uproar, with children kept in a disused Walmart, pictured in caged facilities, and sleeping on mats on the floor. Trump blamed the policy on Democrats refusing to take his hardline approach to border security.
I'll say it very honestly, and I'll say it very straight. Immigration is the fault in all of the problems that we're having, because we cannot get them to sign legislation. We cannot get them even to the negotiating table. And I say it's very strongly the Democrats' fault.
And Kirstjen Nielsen defended the policy, insisting illegal actions must have consequences.
Here is the bottom line. DHS is no longer ignoring the law. We are enforcing the laws as they exist on the books. As long as illegal entry remains a criminal offense, DHS will not look the other way.
In June 2018, President Trump eventually signed an executive order to stop the practice. The fallout from this remains contentious. The Department of Health and Human Services said that possibly thousands more children were separated than originally stated. The government has also revealed they predict it could take 2 years to identify the children separated from their families at the border. Backlash to President Trump's sweeping immigration policy has become commonplace, but so have his impulsive decisions and U-turns. Trump tried and failed to end Daca, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, in September 2017. Daca protects 700,000 young adults from deportation who arrived in the country as children. District courts in New York, D.C., and California have all placed injunctions on the government to keep Daca in place. We all heard Trump say this:
I will build a great, great wall on our southern border, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall. Mark my words.
But by the time he came to office, it actually became very unclear how Trump's wall, which has been estimated to cost anything between $4 billion and $20 billion, would be funded. Mexico has denied they will be paying for the wall, and President Trump has gone from saying a 20% import tax on Mexico goods would pay for the wall to a new trade deal between Canada, the U.S., and Mexico to replace NAFTA would fund it. a questionable claim considering the deal is yet to be ratified. Trump more recently has threatened to close the Mexico border before backing down on this threat due to alleged pressure from business leaders and his administration. His push to fund the border wall put him at loggerheads with the newly Democrat-controlled House, leading to the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. The president eventually declared a national emergency to try and force the funding through. Yet his funding problems weren't resolved here, as legal challenges continue. House Democrats have filed a lawsuit against the declaration. So have the American Civil Liberties Union and a group of 20 states. 12 Republicans even joined a bid in Congress to oppose Trump's emergency declaration, resulting in the president using his veto power for the first time. And 14 Republicans joined the counterattack to override Trump's veto in the House, but failed to get the 2/3 majority required. Despite many of President Trump's hardline policies being blocked or delayed, that does not mean he won't get what he wants eventually.
Build that wall. 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 Build that wall.
Or that immigrants aren't already feeling the effects of his hostile approach. The future of Daca remains uncertain, with recipients now having to apply for advanced parole to travel outside the country. The Migration Policy Institute report that between January 20th and September 30th, 2017, ICE's removal of immigrants from the country increased 37% from the same dates the year before. And in a court filing in February of this year, the government reported family separation is still happening, with over 200 families split up for not fitting the order's requirements. Then again, the future of the Homeland Security Department does not look favorable for Trump. Kirstjen Nielsen resigned as Homeland Security Secretary in April after alleged complaints from Trump for not being tough enough. In her place is Kevin McAleenan, the Commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and a man unlikely to meet Trump's hardline approach. McAleenan has served under the Obama administration and called for more funding to Central American countries. Trump has threatened to cut off aid altogether. And what about the future of Trump's biggest promise, the border wall? Trump will now have to prove in court that there really is a crisis at the southern border, despite Congress not agreeing. If Donald Trump were to win, the legacy of his immigration policy would not just be based on cutthroat hostility. It would set a new precedent that would allow for future presidents to sideline Congress to acquire funding where they see fit. If he were to lose, then his main promise as president lies in ruins.